So today I'm asking the cards for an Easter Sunday message. Let's see wh- what they would like to say to us. I love it. The cards have a real sense of humor. So I don't know about you, but if you think about Easter and celebrating Easter, I don't know if there is one card that would possibly come to your mind in the tarot deck. It's a major arcana card. I think most of you would agree that the Hierophant is a kind of card that's close to the idea of Easter. It's celebrated. I mean, it's a massive church celebration, isn't it? Or a marking, I should say. There's not really the celebration in the sense of Jesus dying on the cross, but then we see that resurrection. But I always, and I have to say this, we have the Hierophant. Where is the Hierophant you? The cards to me are not saying that you need to go through somebody else to access that divine spark. Where are you, the Hierophant? Where, on this Easter Sunday, can you bridge the gap between heaven and earth? Can you find a sense of peace within your own heart, the sense of self-love, and connect with that higher state, that higher feeling? And Neville Goddard would be talking about the Good Friday crucifixion as you nailing what it is you want on your cross. So the cross is consciousness. You nail your conviction to the cross of consciousness. So if you've got consciousness and you want, let's say you want to be healthy, and you nail a healthy version of yourself to your cross, you have that conviction, you've nailed it. Then what do you need to do? Well, the old version of you that is sick or dying, the old version of you that feels pain or has disease, that person has to die. That is the person hanging on the cross. So when you can surrender that state, then you enter your state of resurrection. You are born again into the healthy version of yourself. And this, Neville Goddard would say, is the key to manifestation. It's surrendering the old version of you that would have believed the doctors that said you couldn't walk again, or you couldn't lower that inflammation, or you couldn't repair that back without surgery. This is visualization, knowing, acting, being the person who is well, who is completely whole. So we have what we've come in here. So for me, that's what I would say would be a sort of general idea around Neville Goddard's, a very big paraphrase and generalization of Neville Goddard's approach to the story, the metaphor, the metaphysical version of Easter, where we find it within ourselves. And so the Page of Swords is here today. If we are going to nail our conviction, what it is we want, the desired state, onto the cross, we have a cross here, albeit a papal triple cross, which takes us back to the tree of life. But if we're going to nail that conviction, we need to fight to know our truth. We need to battle any opposition, any sense of self that's going to rise up and say, but I can't possibly be cured. There is no cure. My back will never mend without surgery. The pain is never going to go. I've experienced it for so long. All of this is a battle that will take place in your mind. And until you are ready to surrender on that cross and give up the old version of yourself, until you can let that completely die, our Page of Swords is here to remind you you're going to be battling confusion. And we need to literally have absolute clarity. So the page here is saying work through any confusion. And then we have the Seven of Cups. Often we end up with so many things. Well, if I can have anything I want, I'm going to have this, I'm going to have this, I'm going to have this. But what if I can't have this? What if this isn't the best way forward? And we end up with this sense of being stuck and confused because we don't see the clarity. So this card is saying, take the time you need to sit with what it is that comes true for you. Who is it? Who are you as you step across into the new version of self? And it needs to feel right for you. Don't do things because you feel you should. This needs to be an inside job. It needs to feel like it's filling you up on the inside. It's like a wellspring that feeds your soul. So the 7 is here to remind you that you need clarity. Don't start off in a state of confusion. That is not going to bring your heaven to earth. And if you are confused, sit with it. Sit in the quietness. Sit in solitude until you know with your heart what it is that you desire. Then you take action and you nail that to your conviction. You nail that conviction to your cross of consciousness. And then you surrender the old version that would have questioned it all. If you're enjoying the cards, I do ask that you like and subscribe to the channel. It really does make a difference. And a great big shout out to those of you who've already done so. I really appreciate you. Thank yous. And if you're willing and able, I invite you now to close your eyes. I'm just going to take you into a short meditation. And so I want you to breathe in and out of your heart space. Feel into that now. Start to slow down your mind, your breath, your body. See if you can enter a state of stillness. Can you find some inner peace? And can you for a moment feel into something or someone that you are truly grateful for? What does that gratitude feel like? And can you feel a stirring in your heart space? Can you feel a lift in your spirits? Can you feel your heart start to expand as you sit in this gratitude? And this is a sense of being risen, your spirit rising. It's an indication that you can lift yourself to another octave, a higher version of yourself. That feels better. So in this space, don't listen to the voice that's saying you can't, you shouldn't, you couldn't, you won't. Page of Swords energy is here to remind you to defeat those voices in your head and come instead into that clarity. What is it that you would like to impress upon your mind? What would you like to nail to the cross of your conviction that you know for certain is coming to pass? The version of you. How would you show up? What would you look like? What's in your life? Who's in your life? It's time to have that firm conviction and knowing that it's coming in. And as you do so, you surrender all of those other thoughts, feelings, emotions, whatever it is that may be beneath the surface. All that dies. The old you dies. You have a singular focus now on who it is you want to be as you rise, the born again version of you. The 7 of Cups is saying, maybe you don't know what that is right now. Maybe you don't know what that looks like, and you're struggling to get a grasp of what it could be. So start with something that does make sense, something simple. And prove that to yourself. If you can stay more present, for example, maybe nailing to the cross is a sense of presence, and giving you presence will bring more joy, will lift your spirits. Then work on that. Be that. I am present at all times. And yes, you might be fighting back the fact that other past ideas, past thoughts creep in, or you might start rehearsing the future and how it's going to look. Perhaps you're able to maintain presence far more than you ever imagined. Whatever it is for you, be it. Be that. I am that. It's time to rise. It's time to be reborn into the version of you that you want to be, that you want to feel, and live it. And draw your own version of heaven to earth. Be that Hierophant. Be the one that can connect that higher version of you with your physical state here on earth. And in your own time, you can come back to the room and open your eyes. So interesting cards here for Easter Sunday. We have the Hierophant here, definitely reminding us of this sacred time and a time to connect. But also remembering what Neville Goddard would be saying is this Easter message, this Easter story of dying on the cross and resurrecting and being born again. That is a metaphor for every moment in your life. In every moment, we can let our old version of self, with all of its prejudices, with all of its separation, with all of its anxiety or fear, we can let that die and be born into a newer, higher version of ourselves, and we become that. Page of Swords saying yes, and until we get used to this new version of ourselves, we might be fighting back some old thought patterns. But it's time to take up that sword and fight. And the Seven of Cups is here saying, if it's not quite clear, if you're not feeling it quite yet, you don't know what that convicted feeling is, if it's not coming through for you, sit with it until it does. Or choose something like presence, being fully present in every moment with everything that you do, and see how that plays out and what gifts that brings. A higher state, a higher way of experiencing life, feeling into the color and the texture and the taste and the sounds of every moment. And then allow yourself to become inspired to something higher again. And again, in that moment, we die and we're born again. We have the opportunity at every waking moment. Happy Easter.